thought we were about to get our first ever
reigning MVP.
This is incredible. This is incredible. This is the best grateful for I've ever heard.
Damn, Shooters, a basketball podcast. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's just jump straight into it.
Let's just get stuck into it. All right, we're back.
Welcome back, episode 3 of Shooters Pod.
I was going to do the introduction purely to introduce the reigning MVP of the... I was going to introduce the reigning MVP of the league, but let's make it clear, Blitz MVP, but still a great thing to happen. It was cool seeing you back out there doing your thing.
No, I appreciate it, man. It was fun to be back out there. It was a crazy week. It was 3 days of practice leading into it, but it was good. I mean, I think we're playing some good basketball as a team at the moment, and we're ready. We're ready to get this thing rolling next week. How was your week up there?
It was good. It was pretty hectic. It's pretty hectic, but I'm pretty sure everyone that was up there, it was hectic for them. Schedule's busy. We're trying to record that live podcast, but this didn't go in our favor. But that's all right. We got to meet, which is always a good start to this thing.
It was like the first day I saw you in the crowd. You came straight from the airport to our first game, and I got a little nervous, so I missed my first couple shots. But then we found the thing rolling.
That's right. This guy, he waits until the one game I wasn't there, and then he drops that 25 or whatever it was, and then I messaged him after, and he's like, "I just get a little nervous in front of you."
I know. You're not allowed to come to any games in Melbourne now. You're banned.
No, I'll be there. I'll be there first thing. What, this Saturday?
Yeah. Yep. It's all begins.
We don't miss around, but yeah. How do you find Darwin? Have you been to Darwin before?
Well, great question. I'd been Darwin to the first time ever a couple months before in the NBL 1 playing the Darwin Salties.
Oh, yep.
So we went up there, spent 2 days. 8 days was a bit different. I enjoyed the heat. It's a beautiful place. It was cool. It's like we didn't get to do much exploring because we were out in the community. We were doing school clinics, and then we were playing a lot of basketball and training a lot and doing the media stuff, hanging out with you guys. So it was pretty full on. So I didn't get to see a lot of what kind of Northern Territory had to offer, but I enjoyed my time. What about yourself?
I'm pretty much the same boat. Like, we didn't have much downtime to go exploring, even to restaurants and stuff. I was just eating. I don't know. I was trying to contain what I ate there, just because I don't know. I didn't want to too junky, that quick run and gun, in between games and stuff. But we managed. We got some Subway. We got some different salads and stuff. So, but it would have been nice to explore a little better. But I tell you, the heat is pretty exhausting. I will say that much.
Yes, I agree.
But in saying that, it's good to get out of the normal routine, get out of Melbourne. I'm sure get out of the Tassie cold as well.
Yeah, it was cool. We got off the Tassie plane. We had a long day. It's 4.5 hours to Sydney, then 2 hours from Sydney. And we had the first flight was delayed. None of our bags showed up in Hobart, all that good stuff. But we land in Hobart, and it was pouring down rain and so cold. And we were all wearing shirts. It's 9:30 at night. We were wearing shirts and shorts, just hovering at the two extremes.
Yeah, nah, it's a bit like that. I was going to ask as well, I know from a fan perspective or from a NBL staff perspective, it's always super cool having all the teams in one spot. But what's that like as a player? Just I'm sure everywhere you go, you just bump into friends, people you're not so familiar with. But what's that like from a player's perspective?
No, that's a great question. It's funny. It's funny because when the longer you spend in the league and in Australia, I got guys that I lived with at the Australian Institute of Sport. Yep. Guys that you play on Australian teams with, that you become really good friends with. And then so you're interacting with them on daily. But there's always this weird, and I think most players could attest to this weird, I'm hanging out with my team. We'll have tiny, small interactions, check on each other, and then that's about it. So it's very, very team orientated. Every now and then I snuck away and caught a lunch with a couple of my friends, Alex Madronia, Nick Marshall, Anthony Drimmick and stuff like that, and caught up with those guys. But most of it's team-based, and the interactions are a little awkward.
A little awkward. I kind of felt that would be something that's present. I feel you would interact with other people from your team, but then I feel in the back of your mind you probably think nah, I'm going to spend majority of the time obviously with your teammates. But I found it interesting because I was like manning the media day stuff, and I always found it interesting the crossover between the teams. So like once one team was finished with media day, if there was a bit of crossover and the next team rolled into the same room, I just always found it interesting whether they'd interact or just keep to themselves. But yeah, it's always interesting just actually.
What do you find usually happens?
There wasn't much interaction. Like you can tell the ones that were like if you can, like, even from the outside, sometimes we know who's friends with who, and they'll always go up to each other, whether it's staff members or team like players themselves. But it is interesting.
I'll tell you
it is. It's like, well, you just spend days like eating breakfast in the same buffet, and then you're about to battle it out at night, and then you're kicking each other off the court because there's like specific court times. Yeah. So it's all going on. It's all going on. But it's always good to catch up with your friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. And like this league's small, obviously, in terms of guys stay in the league for a long time. So a lot of guys have been on teams together, have been teammates at some point, and you build friendships that last a long time. And it's always nice being able to catch up.
Yeah, for sure. So what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about your team? Did you
Well, our team, Jackies, we play hard.
Yep.
So we play hard, and our offense is in a much better spot this year compared to this time last year.
Okay.
Where we were scoring 50 points a game the first couple weeks into the season. But Kells is a beast. Rashad Kelly, athletic, gets downhill, and we're going to play the same that we did last year. Share the ball, play hard, play together, make sure our bench is cheering up the loudest, and our huddles are the tightest.
Yeah, nice. What do you call?
Who do you enjoy watching?
Oh, of course, the Jack. Nah, I don't know. It was just good to see everyone in action. Like, I don't know, obviously seeing Aaron Baines for the first time, seeing Adelaide pull together, like they've got a lot of hype this year, so it's actually good seeing what they're like, even though it's just pre-season, so you can't really read, I don't know, too much into pre-season, but at the same time, you kind of can at times. So I think just seeing everyone playing out there, like, it was just good to, see it. And, we interviewed we grabbed you first game up. Me and Joe grabbed you for the interview. What did you call Doyle? You gave him a nickname that you...
Oh, yes. I don't know if he loves it or hates it, but we can put it out there. I like to call him the 6'5" Kevin Durant.
It got some...
Always... Yeah.
It got some love, I think, on Overtime and a few other shows as well. So, if you just keep stirring it, if you just keep putting it out there, people...
Yeah, definitely, because he's smooth. He, plays at his own pace. Kind of looks like he's not trying. That's because he just gets to his spot, shoots over people, he's always making the right decisions out of the pick and roll, and he's catch and shoots obviously deadly. So I like the comparison. I'm the one that came up with it, but a little 6'5" Kevin Durant type of style, we can get around it.
Yeah. No, I think there's something on there. I see the way he crosses over, and I kind of just see it. He kind of just hangs it out there. It reminds me of the media day shoots, how the photographers always exaggerate the crossover to get the good photo. He kind of does that, but
no, I like that. When you be doing the poses with the balls, he'd be playing like that.
He just does it fully seriously. But I jotted down a few other names that impressed me.
Hit me.
Ryan Rupert, New Zealand break and next star. I reckon, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but hey, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. But he was very consistent for such a young guy, and he's one of those guys that when I was behind the camera, it kind of typically you record, I don't know, offensive stuff mainly. But when he was playing defense, I was kind of enjoying just literally focusing on him, even if he's in a defensive stance, just because he's so long and he kind of just has that habit of, getting deflections and all that. Make defense fun.
Definitely. Well, I admittedly didn't actually watch any of New Zealand's games, but I watched some highlights, and every time I looked at the box score, he was 3 from 5, 4 from 5 from the 3, and with that length and that athleticism, if you can stand there and hit some shots as well, you're going to go a lot of places, that's for sure.
It's kind of just like a cherry on top. If you got the defense and the athleticism, and then you're I'll throw in some made shots as well. It's kind of just a bonus.
Yeah, 100%.
And another one I had, I always find it funny every time we get to a new season and people kind of hype up new players or expect big things from different players. There's always Bryce Cotton. He always just has one game where he's kind of just I feel like he's quite kind of a quiet guy, but on court he kind of just has those moments. I think the first game he had 36 or something, and it's almost just a bit of a message just don't forget about me, please. And then he kind of chilled and cruised a bit for the rest of the games, it seems. But I just love how he kind of just has those games where it's kind of just like I'm still here, guys. I'm still that guy.
Yes, Bryce Cotton. When people ask me who's the toughest player you've ever played against, my answer is Bryce Cotton. So like he's someone that the way he moves without the ball is what makes him so hard to guard. Like anyone can do some cool crossovers and hit a tough shot, but his consistency to score at a high level is what for me puts him in a category above so many other basketball players. Like anyone, obviously his step back's amazing, but anyone can make a step back when they're feeling good and go out and have 25 points. But it's like, he scores 22 a night every single night. like, with incredible Aussie guards pestering him full court all game. And so for me, his consistency is something that we just got to make sure as NBL and as Australian basketball fans that we don't take the consistency for granted. Because it'll be what season is it for him now?
Oh jeez, I don't know. That's the other thing. Like you've been saying, it's the old appreciate the greatness stuff. Like you get so used to it that it's just like that's just what he does. But as long as we always get back to like actually realizing what he is doing, that's all fine.
Yes, Bryce Cotton doing Bryce Cotton things.
Yep. I was laughing as well. There was one time, just quickly before we move on from Bryce Cotton, but I was laughing. I think Perth were playing Cairns, and I was right behind the Cairns bench, and I think Bryce was just doing his thing, and a few guys were yelling out to the defenders, he's going to step left, and like, it's just funny watching him because that's exactly what he did, but he still scored like over and over again, and it was very entertaining.
Yes, 100%. Get to your spots, rise up, and not many people can stop you.
Yeah, pretty much. Anything else from Blitz?
Yeah, so there's one thing I wanted to talk about because the Blitz was an incredible experience for me for a different reason. Okay. So pretty much this was my first time ever in a long injury. So touch wood, I've been very, very grateful that I've never had to sit out a long time of basketball. And so we went up North Tassie for 8 days, I think it was. We came back we had 4 days at home. It was a rest day, and then it was 3 full practices, and they were my first practices back. Okay. So I jumped in 3 days in a row, and then we flew to Darwin. And it was the first time in a long time where I've been hit with like being overwhelmed.
Okay.
Yeah. So my body was hurting. I was kind of beating it was crazy because I saw like the MVP thing, and I was sitting on the plane up for 2 hours beating myself up about how poorly I think I did. And I was going over like the defensive errors I made, the mistakes, like my legs didn't feel as sharp. Like I wasn't feeling as good out there. And like to get that, I was like, wow. So I was going through all these little things, and it got to a point where the day before the last game, we had a big practice. We had the media day. So it was the day me and you were hanging out, and I got back and I actually just broke down.
Really?
From how kind of hard it was coming back, being back into the space, being in Darwin, being around everyone, doing the media stuff, playing these games, trying to compete at the best level possible, and then being overwhelmed with the whole experience. So it was a cool time because I had some awesome people to lean on. So I'd been joking about it for a couple of days. I putting in some, like, man, I've never been this tired in my entire life. Like, wow, like this is like, I'm hurting so bad, like physically. I was sleeping like 15 hours a day, just trying to get through like not my usual self. And it wasn't until like I got home, we had a training after the media day, and I was in the shower and I like broke down. I was crying. And I was like, oh, this is like been a hard week for me. Yeah. And so I called my girl Beth and had a great conversation with her, and we talked it out. And then I went, and this is when people talk about culture, what I mean. I went to my 2 assistant coaches, Jacob Chance and Mark Radford, and like broke down in front of them. I was sobbing like a baby. And so like just talking about how overwhelmed I was with kind of everything. Like some of my habits had gone out the window. I wasn't doing the morning routine. Because I was tired, trying to give myself more rest. And it kind of hit to a point where I was like, wow, like I don't even know if I can play this game tomorrow. And like that was a conversation we had. And I lent on those guys. We had some hugs and we talked it out. And then I went to a team dinner and no one really knew about it. And then I came out and had kind of 25 points the next day. And I'm feeling a lot better now that I managed to get home. We had a couple of days. It's a Sunday. He had a couple of days off and been into the 9 degrees beach for 2 days now, feeling good. But just a little story I wanted to share because it's just a small challenge that I faced about having a real hard week and something that maybe someone else is going through at the Blitz or who knows, because it was a pretty full-on week.
Yeah, nah, credit to you for opening up like that. It's so, and credit to you because like you said on that day that this seemed to all happen was the day you came into media day, and it's not like from my perspective and from everyone else's, I'm sure we couldn't tell anything was different from you. You came into that room and you were you seemed like the loudest voice and the most cheerful and positive person as I assume you normally are. Yeah. So it's it's just, you just never know what people are actually going through. And then you could the way you spoke then, it's kind of just you could almost assume that you had a bad run at the Blitz, bad performances out there. But yeah, it's interesting how that clearly didn't affect you too much on the field, but it did mentally at the same time. But did that, I was just going to say, did that, I know the Blitz MVP is just, it's not a massive deal, but at the same time, it is something to be sort of proud of. Did that help at all? What did that do for you?
I wouldn't say mentally it was oh wow, but it was kind of just, it was a cool experience. It was just this is kind of what I'm capable of. Let's keep just carrying this thing over, keep rolling with the punches and the flows of this getting better at basketball. You get better like this and just keep taking I managed to get better at basketball while I was injured, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it is cool. Was it sort of, did you kind of just feel like there was pressure to be immediately good or immediately back to the old Jack McVeigh that people are getting used to?
I think there was a lot of it was just, there was a lot going on. I was genuinely fatigued physically. For me, when I go to those media days, and when I interact with fans or do clinics, I give it my all. I really do. I walk in there with a purpose of being I'm going to try my hardest. I'm going to try and pick someone else up. I'm trying to bring some energy to this. So it was just a lot of all of that kind of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. no switch off. We're running into guys, I'm seeing friends, and it was whoa, this is all hit me too much at one time. I need to shut it down for a couple of days, which is what I've had when lucky enough to get back to Tassie and shut it down for a couple of days.
I was actually, when we were talking about it before, I was actually going to ask, do you ever get to a point that there'd be so much interaction and so much, and like you said, someone like you want to give it to you all for every kid you see, every sort of fan, every, even player, I'm sure there'd just be times where you kind of just want to escape and do your own thing, but sometimes it's just not possible, especially in a situation like the Blitz where it was just on. But
yeah, definitely. I mean, sometimes you definitely want to get away. It's all of us, whether it's from work or getting into your space. And I had an awesome roommate in Milton Doyle. We'll rooming together. So I was just getting to my room, put the headphones on. I like to roll out, do some movement stuff, and that's kind of some of the things I lean on. But yeah, I was just very, very grateful that I got surrounded by good people, and I lent on those people, and that's what helped me get through the week.
That's what you need. You can never.
I was talking to one of my friends now. The only problem with this whole thing is we were saying before the first game, Jacob Chancey and Rat are gonna bring me to the side and start playing a scene from The Lion King where my man starts dying. They're gonna try and start having me crying pre-game to go out there and not miss any shots.
So they're gonna pull on your strings and be like, Jack, we need you emotional. We need you to break down to have these performances. But
100%, they're gonna be pushing me to my limits now. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But no, it's good. Shout out to good people.
You need those around you, and you can never undervalue just I don't know, even if it's a 5-second talk with someone, that can make the world of. 5 minute. Did I say 5 second? That would be very.
Yeah. I'm not feeling good. Nice.
Yeah. Nice one. Move on. Get out there and do your thing.
Yeah. But for real.
Yeah, nah, that's fair. Moving on to something lighter. You got some rate or hates for me? What have you got?
You start us off. You hit me.
Actually, before I do, you know how you actually I've got 2 follow-ups from our previous things of this. Be Real. I finally downloaded it.
Yep.
Finally got it. in saying that, I'm pretty sure it was literally yesterday. So,
Nice.
not a veteran user or anything, but, I'm still doing stuff. So,
What were you doing on your first Be Real? What was your first, what were you doing?
pretty much the same as everyone during that time, and that was watching the grand final yesterday. So,
Nice,
it was
nice.
it was real, but I'm pretty sure everyone that put theirs up was the exact same position. It was just like, yep, couch, food, footy in the background.
Yep, 100%.
Do you still use it after these?
I know I've actually uninstalled it. So from when we had it, and I was telling you last time it was like 7 days, I haven't gone without it. I'm not very real anymore, sadly.
No. You're not real. You're just not publicly real in that accent. That's fine. That's fine. And the other one, you know how last week we were like, why do people chew chewing gum? It's a really in-depth discussion. Well, I made some notes, and me and my partner were driving home from lunch today, and so basically we were just talking about why people chew chewing gum, and I made some notes. Fresh breath, we all know that. I'm pretty sure that's why people do it. I said like the taste. I don't know whether people treat it like just like a bit of a lolly, bit of a treat, maybe. And one Jess came up with was like hunger. So either to stop yourself eating more, like if you're trying to lose weight, apparently that will kind of trick your brain into like thinking you're eating more than you are.
Yeah.
Something I did not think of. I'm pretty sure that was it. Yeah, just delaying. Yeah. That was the main one that caught me. So maybe that's the main reason.
Well, I've got something crazy for you too.
Wow.
I just finished on the trip. I finished this book, 7 Days Breath.
Boom.
By James Nestor, a great book. And it gets to the end, and he's talking about like breathing problems, the whole bam. And like a big part of it, like a whole chapter is dedicated on why our facial structure is getting smaller.
Okay.
And that a lot of sleep apnea and snoring is because we don't like chew as much as we used to, like if you're eating rice and stuff. So he's like, one of the best things you can do if you got one of these things and need to change your jaw and structure, which it does change to the age of 70, is chew on chewing gum.
Wow. All right.
So I was reading this thinking about you the other day. I was like, wow, I might have to get on the chewing gum.
Yeah. It could be a health improvement of something.
Health improvements. He did recommend getting certain types of like tougher chewing gum, but hey.
I love the truths we're unpacking here. It's very important here.
Okay. Rate or hate. First one I've got to you is just simple. We'll keep it on the themes of Darwin, is Darwin's heat.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to hit me with one. As soon as you said it relates to Darwin, I have got one that relates to Darwin, but it's not that, so it's all right. Darwin's heat. I like I said to you before, I think it's good for a change, but if I had to choose, I would prefer not to live in that. But I think you have to be a certain kind to kind of deal with that heat 24/7, and not to mention like once you do it for a bit, you probably just get used to it, and it's probably just a way of life. So, how can you sit on the fence with these ones?
The point of this part. This is a skill that you're learning to either rate or hate something.
It's actually a good point. I'm gonna say I'll rate it because.
Oh no! No, I thought we were about to get our first ever hate.
I'm inclusive of all. If someone wants to live in Darwin heat, go for it. I don't mind. I'm rating it. It's for some.
Yeah. There you go. Oh my gosh! My goal now is to get you to hate something.
I'm just trying to be positive like you. You inspire me.
I love it.
You inspire me. Oh, actually no. Rate or hate for you. What do you think of Darwin's heat after?
I rate it. As a Goldie kid, I can get around it. Would I want to live there 24/7? Probably not. But for that 7 and 8 days, I was loving it. I was at home.
That's good. I'm pretty sure like the small talk with most people I came across in Darwin, you brought up the heat, and most people were just like, it's exhausting, but that's a good answer.
Yes, 100%.
Sticking with Darwin, not Darwin specifically, but travel. So flying. Are you good in the air?
Wow, great one. I rate it. I can sleep. I can relax. I'm a big sleeper. Read a lot of that book though, because it was a lot of hours, 7 hours. 7 hours was a long time, but I rate flying. What about yourself?
I don't mind it. I think as soon as I get in my head and I start staring at the clock, it's a bit much. But it wasn't that. Like it was like for some reason we did Melbourne to Adelaide and then Adelaide to Darwin. Don't ask me
Yep.
why. So it wasn't that bad, but yeah, I rate it. You
Nice.
need it. It's pretty essential, flying.
Did you get on the 2:20 a.m. flight?
No. Some people did that, and some people were keen for it. They're like, no, I'm actually good for this. I'm like, I'd rather wait a bit longer and do not waste my whole. Oh, actually, no. The way I did waste my whole public holiday. But
Oh, how exciting is that?
Right.
I was gonna say, what was your flight entertainment? Was it that book?
Yes,
single-
it was. It was the book. So
Yeah.
pretty much that dominated all of my flight.
Nice. I was so I downloaded Animal Kingdom. Have you?
I haven't played it, but how was it?
No,
the
it's a
Switch?
show. It's a show.
Oh,
What is it? When you use the word play, I was like, it's a TV show on Netflix.
how
Yeah.
was it?
It's good. Like the new season came out, so I just basically finished that all along my in the amount of flights I did. So
You'd recommend it?
it's a good show. It's a good show.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what genre of shows you normally watch, but
I don't really watch much shows.
really, okay.
Yeah.
More of a reading kind of guy and just chill.
YouTube. I'm a big YouTube guy.
Oh, YouTube.
I'm
yeah.
part of like the generation of like YouTube Academy.
Mm,
I'm actually
okay.
learning everything from YouTube.
Just non-stop shooters podcast. That's what you just.
You just
On repeat. That's how I sleep. That's what I wake up to.
That's too much. That's too much.
I was listening to you saying, rate it, rate it.
Have I actually not said hate it yet?
Nah.
Oh wow, okay. We need like a tally going.
We do need a little, yeah, no, you're
Like-
putting more work on yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Little box popping
Yeah,
up
little
every
box.
time. What's your next one?
Okay, so, give me a second, I've frozen. I haven't pre-planned them this one, so I'm coming off the top. That's my bad.
Jeez, it's almost like you've had a busy week or something. You need to
I just a little bit, huh?
prioritize. It's all right.
Okay. Okay, give me a second because I want to think of a good one. I don't want to throw out these like a nonsense.
If you don't have 3, I won't hold it against you. It's fine.
You've definitely had the best rate or hate so far in terms of questions. The chewing gum one was crazy.
Chewing gum. No, that was you though, wasn't it? You're the one. No, because you put that on me, didn't you? I'm pretty sure you did. I didn't bring chewing gum to the table, and you just.
I just hyped myself up
Yeah,
without
yeah,
even realizing it. That's subconscious brain power right there.
You just fully complimented yourself in a great way. So great, yeah. Round of applause right there. You bring in the
Thanks.
good questions. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that was you. I can go mine if you want to think about it.
Yeah, hit me with one more.
Oysters.
Ooh, oysters.
I reckon I'm gonna jump in. I reckon you're an oyster fan. Don't know why.
Well, sadly, you've called it wrong.
Okay. We don't know each other well yet. We know each other.
But Kilpatricks don't count. Like, you have like the little sauce and they're cooked and stuff.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm currently, my partner doesn't eat seafood. I grew up a seafood head, but she doesn't. So like my taste buds for seafood's like slowly declining. So things like oysters, I've gotten like a bit more extreme. So I'm gonna have to say hate it.
Okay.
What about
Okay.
yourself?
Well, I don't know if this counts as my first ever hate because you didn't throw it on me. But I'm gonna have to hate it as well. I've only ever eaten one oyster, and that was, I don't know if it counts because there was one of those ones that like it has like grilled cheese on top of it or something. So it's kind of
Yep.
just like, for me, that takes away what an oyster is meant to be because every time I avoid it, it's because I just judge it purely by the look of it. It's just too slimy, the texture.
I agree.
Just no thank you.
It's slightly scary.
It is. And you know what, the one thing that ruined for me, like ever since I was a kid, Mr. Bean. Do you remember the way he used to slurp those things down?
Yes, I do know exactly what you're talking about.
Put me off.
Put me off.
That's gross.
Don't like it.
No, that's gross.
There you go. 2 hates. We don't like it. Have you had any luck with your thinking during? You don't have to. I can jump straight to my last one.
Maybe. I think I'm choking on the rate or hate it today.
That's fine. It's been a big week.
My bad.
We forgive. We forgive and
Thanks
we
for
forget.
being such an understanding co-host.
That's what podcast co-hosts are for. Last one, NBA 2K, and I do have a reason for asking this.
There you go.
Keep that in mind. Yeah.
You could get me on like a 20-minute rant about NBA 2K.
We don't have that long. No,
No,
You
you
don't have that long, but
Uh,
right now my player's looking nice. I'd be
Yep.
giving out the business, so I'm gonna say rate it.
Wow. Okay.
I like that.
I'll rate it. I used to play a lot of it. I used to be like the I'm not sure if you ever came across the people that took it that seriously, that they posted their seasons on a forum online. So you literally post like your stats, and then people, people like rate your trades and your who we need to play with better, more, and stuff of that nature. So it's pretty fun.
Do you create like you love becoming the GM of a team?
Yeah, and just playing as that team and taking them on a ride. That was great fun back in the day.
What was your go-to team?
Oh no, there was too many. There was too many.
Because sometimes you'd start with the up and coming, the rebuild, you'd do the whole bit. Huh?
My thing was I was always drawn towards the crappier young teams, and then I always got frustrated. Then I never got anywhere with them. So that was my
we're pretty similar childhood then, because I would do the same thing.
I was just like, these guys are great. Like this dude's gonna become a star, and then I get halfway through a season, I'm like, I suck. I can't do anything here. So
I'll never forget growing up. I can't remember. I was young, but I was doing that. I was always growing up. And in one season, I just managed to somehow pull off like a Dwight Howard trade. Like I'm talking prime Dwight Howard too. And like my whole team just started clicking, and we ended up. I think we lost in the finals. But that was like I was playing on like Hall of Fame difficulty and like really like Hall of Fame like simulation difficulty and stuff. And
that's big.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. Shout out to Dwight Howard for helping me turn around my one of the most memorable teams I've ever had.
That's big. That is big. So the reason I asked that was because I don't know if you know, because I think I was crossing paths at the media day, but my main role at media day was manning our NBA 2K station, and that was out the back. And did you know the one team that did not participate that much in the 2K room
was us?
Yes, literally. I'm pretty sure nobody walked in there, and the rest of the other teams were. It was now because I kind of moved around and I was in a few other interview rooms at the time, so maybe they just didn't know what it was. But yeah, I was like, "Where's the Jackies gamers?" There was just nobody.
Wow. So and other teams spent some time in that.
Yeah, we've got full some lots of footage coming from it, some lots of content coming from it. They had a great old time, and
I didn't even know there was.
Yeah, you were too busy. You were the main man. Like you were just like rolling around to each station. Like
no, there was a lot of stations though. There was a lot of stations.
You were just like you try to relax, and people were just like, nah, Jack, we need you over here, buddy. Yeah.
Wow, so the Jack jumpers are just boring old Jackies, huh?
That's pretty much what I walked away. I'm just like, well, they don't like gaming. I don't know what they do in their spare time. So
there you go. So Jackies would have to rate 2K, hate it, but I rate it.
Okay,
we there like it. The Jack jumpers, huh? On media day.
What about gaming as a whole? Do you and Drimic still have the first thing you told about me? I mean, you said one of the first things was you and Drimic have a date night every Wednesday night. I think it was. Do you still do that? Do you still try that?
Recently, it's been a bit chaotic.
Yep.
But we try and get in our Wednesday night date nights, and that involves us playing some video games, playing some League of Legends, catching up on the week, and we try and stick to that most Wednesdays.
Nice. Any Call of Duty? I mean, mixed among there.
I'll be jumping on the new one, especially on the PS5. We might have to jump on together.
The last game I played was Call of Duty, but I haven't played it for a while. But maybe the new one will entice me.
Well, I know a couple of the boys on the Jackies, even though we aren't the gaming team, are going to jump on it. So we'll be ready to go.
Don't believe it. Not buying it.
Don't believe it till you see it.
Pretty much. Nah, that might be an idea actually.
Yeah.
Good one. What else? The season's starting. A week away.
We have training on Monday, Tuesday off. Then we start preparing. Preseason is officially over. We will fly to Melbourne on Friday and then prepare to play Southeast opening night Saturday. Let's go.
Maybe we can catch up while you're in town again. Who knows?
100%.
If you're in the area, just
Will you be at the game?
I'll be at the game. Yep, I'll be there. I'll probably be floating around. So don't get too nervous if you see a dude with a camera.
So you got to hide from me.
No. You can perform under pressure. It's fine.
Any round one matchups you're looking forward to? Don't have to put the Jack jumpers in there. Any game in particular you're excited to see?
Jeez, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, and that like all the schedule for round one isn't that clear in my mind right now. So I'm gonna cop out of that one and just say, basketball's back. So just excited for basketball.
Let's give another shout out. We've shouted her out twice now, so she should be a sponsor. But Lauren Jackson Hoopin.
Oh yeah, yep.
She had a great game yesterday, plus 22 in the box score. But the girls are doing good. Being held in Sydney for the world champs. It's been exciting to follow.
Yeah, she's Lauren Jackson's probably listening. So that's it.
Wow.
Hey friend.
How you doing? Keep up the good work.
That's it.
Yeah, keep up the good work.
Nice. That's episode 3. It's done. Do it again.